So, how does one predetermine or determine how to create value in people's lives? It's a good question, a very valid question, particularly in this day's society, and how things are actually happening in life. For example, it's winter right now, right? And so this jacket serves to create value by protecting me from the cold. So creating value means picking up where there's a problem and then coming up with ways to resolve or solve that particular problem, right? That's what creating value is all about. But also, sometimes we create value for things that we don't necessarily see as problems. Sometimes we create value from or through, not even from, but through creativity. Sometimes we create value through innovation, you know and sometimes the same value that we create devalues something else. Think about things that create pollution, this advancement in technological cars. They when it came about, when the industrial revolution was happening, there were many factories that were put in place to create different types of value, so that they were creating different types of products to meet different types of needs, but also creating different types of products to better people's lives for things that they didn't even think they needed, right? But in turn, there was a devaluation of the world, of the earth, through things such as climate change, things such as pollution and challenges that were created towards our environment, therefore devaluing the environment through certain respects. So sometimes there must be that balance and congruency between how we create balance, how we create value. There must be that type of balance between how we create value. Because now, when you open a business, for example, you need to ask that fundamental question of what problem am I solving? What problem am I solving through this particular business? Then you create a particular model where you assess who your target market is going to be, how you're going to provide that particular product or service, and what is it, what are the intricacies of that, and what sets you apart, your unique selling proposition or USP, what sets you apart from another business that would be trying to solve a similar problem. Then if you find yourself to be identical to another producer of a product or a service provider, then you then have to predetermine how do you then differentiate yourself through your particular creative or innovative initiative, or value-driven service, right? It's quite important for us, when we look at how to create value, we actually assess whether that value is not going to devalue something else in the process. When you look at things such as Uber, it's a good creative way in which people can move around. And then you look at the disadvantages to someone who didn't come up with a similar innovation because they thought the taxi and public transport system would remain the same. So they created value by creating basically cheaper transportation means for us, creating opportunities for people to be self-employed rather than run and go get a job. They created opportunities for people to get meals delivered to them at the comfort of their own home through cheaper rates, right? They basically formed a disruption in more than one industry, and therefore created value in all these industries without devaluing society largely, but rather causing a force of nature that causes people to actually think of new ways of how to live, because that type of disruption comes with the disadvantage of devaluing the old transport system. But it's not negative enough or detrimental enough for us to say devalued it. Rather, it disrupted it, and then therefore people who are still caught up in the old system have to then come up and create better ways for themselves, right? Yeah. So as individuals, it's key that you also now assess your life at this point in time and determine how to create value in your own life by building yourself, capacitating yourself, empowering yourself, and then determining how to create value in other people's lives and in people that you interact with, engage with, and try to contribute towards those particular people through a certain type of value that you then create. So it's key to then to stand steadfast in a value proposition mindset. In everything that you do, assess whether you are creating value for yourself, assess whether you are creating value for others, assess whether what you're doing is not necessarily a waste of your time, but rather is there to create value. Assess whether you are valuable in the market in which you operate. Assess whether you are valuable in the world in which you live and work. So good luck, but strive to be valuable in everything that you do.